97. Uh,
when I went to Chicago
you were
early.
Chicago.
And good evening. You are listening to WOJB. Anishinaabe Sober Voices is on the air, and thank you for joining us. You can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Anishinaabe Sober Voices. And in the studio today is Mary Ellen with a couple of guests, and it's Women in Water Coming Together Symposium Week, and you've been having a lot of activities out at your place, Mary Ellen. What's happening? What's happening with your microphone?
Trying to get it to work for me. It's not on, is it?
Yeah, it's working just fine. Yeah.
Well, bonjour. Nyogeju gukwe nishinakas. Bijou do that. Bijou do that. And, well, this is our seventh annual Women in Water Coming Together Symposium.
Okay.
And it's international too because we had one woman from Ireland. We've got some people from Canada. We've been doing this work for 7 years or more because we started. This is the 7th year of our symposium,
Yeah.
but it's maybe the 14th year. No, maybe not that long. 10th or 12th year of bringing the people together and doing some awareness type fundraisers. We started out with music, doing different music programs. Went to Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Chicago.
Mm.
And we were also looking for a place to hold the symposium because we knew we wanted to do that. And it's about gathering women together
Yeah.
to help to heal them so that they'd be able to be strong enough, empower them for helping them to get to know themselves as women, and to so that they can talk for the water,
Mm.
so that they can meet their congressmen, meet anybody, and tell them about the importance of water. We look at water in a different way than a lot of people do, and a lot of people look at water as an entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
uh, fun, games, um, and we're we look at water as life.
Yeah.
That we won't be able to live if we don't have water. And one woman said to me, and I have to bring this up too, is because water is all over everything, and it's in the air that we breathe. So one woman said, we need air more than water.
Mm.
Well, I'll tell you this much: air needs water too.
Yeah.
Without water, everything is dry. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and so isn't air.
Mm-hmm. There is water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we do this work all year long, and we have 2 fundraisers here at LCO, at the college or at the university now, where we do 12-hour live stream, and we bring in different ones to talk during those 12 hours. And we play music and we sell our articles, fundraiser, and we make a lot of we do a lot of awareness about water and about the drive, about LCO. We do a lot in different countries tune us in. So we've reached a lot of people that way.
Mm-hmm.
We pay our bills.
Yeah.
We've done that ever since we started. We don't. There isn't any. We don't owe anybody any money, and that much we can say for ourselves. We're not a big organization. We're just a grassroots people trying to make a difference.
Oh,
And our committee is made up of different ones from different states, and we have Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota, and throughout Wisconsin. And the two that's with me today or tonight, this evening, they're from Maine, and Fort Kent, Maine, and they're with us. We do a lot of our meetings. We have once a month meetings in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. We all meet there. And then we have, before that, a few days before that, we have a teleconference where people can't come to Wisconsin. They can do their input on this teleconference. So, and Danielle and Joseph have been with us since we started. And they do a lot of work. Danielle helps with writing proposals. And Joseph is one of our spiritual leaders. And it's so good to be working with people. And we're such a close-knit group that it's not easy to form a close-knit group when you're spread so far apart. But we do. We are.
yes.
So we seem to read each other's minds a lot. And we're all working for the same. And it's uniting us. It united us faster than anything, anybody, any other group that have, because we're working for light. You know? So, with that in mind, and did I answer your question?
Yeah. Well, just getting the conversation started here. I did want to ask for our non-native listeners, can you describe the connection between women and water from the native perspective? What's so significant about women and water? And can you describe what that's about?
I think when we talk about connection, that's a word that reminds me of putting two together, two people together, two things together, two words together, connecting. With women and water, it's together. I mean, we're already connected. We're already united. We're already together. We're already bonded. We've bonded with water since the day we were thought of. We come into this world bonded with water, surrounded by water. We step onto, our bodies are placed into this world through water. So it's not a connection. What's a good word for that?
Bond.
We are.
Yeah.
We are water.
Right.
So there's that relationship between and among all of us, that we are one, because we are all water. And water is life. It sustains life. When we came out of that primordial sea, we came out of the water, and because we used to breathe that water, and into the air, which is just, it's water too, because the air is all moisture and it's filled with water. So we're still water breathers, so to speak, but not in concentrated amounts.
Sure.
we drink the concentrate, and we breathe the light water,
the light version.
But it's a real honor to be working with Grandmother Mary Ellen and everyone else on the committee. And I've been on many committees and boards in the past, and this is really the first time I've worked with a group of individuals who are dedicated. I mean, really dedicated to their beliefs, spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally, because we're not just working for a cause. We're working for the planet, for Mother Earth, because what we do to the earth, we do to ourselves. I think it was Chief Joseph that said, we're all part of that web. And what we do to any part of the web, we do to ourselves. So water is that web of life that holds all of us together. Like that.
And we are born of water. And water, we look at water as medicine as well.
Yeah.
Water is our first medicine, one of our first medicines. So water is part of who we are, and water is life. When we say water is life, and we think about that, we think, oh well, we think water and life are two separate things, but no, life is water. Water is life. So it is one thing. One.
Yeah.
And it's we are. Just two words, and you think about that. We are. We are what? We are water. So, by saving the water on the planet, we're saving ourselves. You know, because then now we have an opportunity to reflect on who we are in here. You know, we were. Oh, these are our bodies. And our bodies are water. So so it's like we have to clean our bodies. What do we clean it with? Water. We brush our teeth. What do we use? Water. You know, we use eye drops. We use saline solution. And it's like we take medicine. What do we take it with to wash it down? Water. And for me, I've learned that, you know, when I shave in the morning, you know, I don't let the water just run anymore. You know, I just lather up, then I shave, and then I turn the faucet on again, and I rinse, and then I'll rinse. And it's the same with the shower. The shower's not on blasting anymore, and to the point where you're singing, and that echo with the shower. No, it's taking responsibility for who we are, for what we do, and standing up for who we are and what we do. We stand for the water.
Yeah.
And we honor that grandmother like that.
We're standing for our life when we stand up for water. That's our life. So it's important to have that understanding of our life. And without that water, we would not exist. Nothing. We would go back to that point of nothing.
And water comes in so many different forms. We have the liquid, we have the solid, and we have the gas. And I'm thinking there's, you know, the sacred four. There's got to be a fourth phase of that, maybe even in some sort of plasma state. But I mean, we use it in all of its states: solid, liquid, and gas. And that water it's weak and it's strong at the same time, because we know what a flood can do. And it's weak because if it's just laying on the counter, it doesn't really have any strength until it starts to move. And I was thinking one day that, you know, you can't turn a page in a book without water. And a friend of mine says, what do you mean? He says, you need the strength of that water to turn the page. He says, that's crazy. So I wet my finger and I turned that page. And I said, try it with a dry finger. It doesn't work so good. But you lick that finger and that water, that the strength of that water helps you to turn that page. And we smile, but it gives us an opportunity to really think about, you know, how, in all of its forms, all that it does, from the oceans to the clouds, and even in the clouds, uh, this may be a little it came to me once that water makes fire. Someone says, "How does water make fire?" I says, "Have you ever seen two clouds rub together and that lightning comes down? That's water making fire."
Mm.
They go, "Ooh." I said, "Yeah." So that grandmother water has many children,
Mm.
and fire is one of them.
We can even, I mean, doesn't have to be so hard to understand how much we need water, and that's try going without it for a while. You know, you not only get thirsty, but you get dizzy. You get your heart palpitates. You're not your kidneys aren't working so good, and it's lightheadedness that you feel when you're dehydrated. So the lack of water.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about the countries and the places that don't have any water. But we're talking about this high heat. I mean, it's really been, we've really been going through some hot weather, you know, and how much that that is, how much that is causing the water to evaporate a lot faster in our lakes, in our oceans,
Yeah.
in our ponds, in our places like Arizona and all over that are really feeling it. And the dust that it creates also, you know, tells you, you know, we've got to start thinking about things like that. We just can't let it go on without doing something, without doing something positive. In our little way, that's what we're trying to do. And our little ways are really big ways, because the people that come really go away from our gathering. They go away and they're healed, into their healing, beginning their healing, looking for healing, so that they too can feel strong enough. And a lot of our women are held down by words, bad words, are held down by somebody's thumb, held down by um, not knowing, held down by criticism, um, afraid to step up with their opinions, afraid to step up when somebody doesn't talk to them in a good way. So we like to know, we like to know, and we like to feel that, and we do help women to recover and to we empower them to a new way of looking at life, to a new way of looking at themselves,
Yeah.
to a new way looking at their existence in the world, a new way of looking at how they fit into their families, their nation, their country, their community. So you know that that's so powerful, so powerful for a small grassroots group, and and we don't take any credit for that. That credit comes from the great spirit, you know, and from the knowledge that we've received and that has come to us from the elders that have passed away, died for this way of life, and for the elders that have saved and passed on their knowledge, the knowledge that we're working with today. And so, like I said, we're not doing it alone.
Mm.
so that the people that they come from all over. We got some women from California. We got some women from Massachusetts.
Mhm.
We got some, where is it? Clarice?
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Mhm.
We have some women from Texas, Florida.
Mhm.
So, and we're east, west, north, and south,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and Canada.
Mhm.
So it's a tremendous. We're narrowing that space,
Mm.
and all the women that attend, they bring their daughters, bring their husbands,
Mhm.
they bring their family. They come.
Mhm.
They get into this healing, and they get into this positive frame of mind, and they want the other members to feel that and to hear that and
Mhm.
to live that way too.
Mhm.
You know, our traditions go a long way back, and our traditions, and I always tell the people that don't have that right to do like we do, I always tell them, we're sharing this with you, not giving it to you. We're sharing it with you, and to respect. We all have to respect,
Mhm.
So
deep respect.
that one word.
Yeah. So we had a guy from Toronto, Canada, him and his wife talked to us about respect. The guy
Mhm.
talked about respect for women. And I wish a lot of our young men would have heard
Yeah.
him talk.
Mhm.
Really good.
Yeah.
And that elder, he really touched all of us with his
Mhm.
words.
And respect each other. Respect is a core essence of the family life and of all of life. When we start to respect ourselves, then we start to respect the others around us, and then we start to respect everything in life. So that was a very powerful message that Elder brought in Canada to the women who come. Right, that's what we're seeking. We're seeking that ability to strengthen ourselves, seek the ability to uplift us, so when we go home, we can handle those challenges with our families and challenges with our environment and challenges with our place of employment and work and all the things women have to deal with. Because many of us juggle, we're juggling so many things. Sometimes many of us women lose that the enthusiasm or that call it the umph of life, move forward with things because there's so much challenges that we face today as women and our families and our homes and our communities and our workplaces and it stems out to the environment. When our environment isn't healthy, now there's that relationship back and forth. Um, so there we go again. It's when our waters aren't healthy, we aren't healthy, and because as women we are the carriers of water and we are the givers of life, and so when those things are in balance, unhealthy in our environment, it affects us tremendously. So we're trying to strengthen that here, Women in Water, to bring women together to have more strength and more understanding of that relationship with our families, environment, water, to go home with those understandings, to move forward in a more healthier way of life, and then to give that healthy way of life to our homes, our communities, our environment, and our workplaces as we move forward. To bring that little seed that we plant here, to plant it in our communities.
And to experience uh, uh, an enrichment in their own lives by learning to have more self confidence within themselves. From the, as Ariel was describing respect and honor and it's honor, dignity, pride, and respect for yourself. And with that empowerment, people are empowered. They can do great things. And we share these aspects of life to help them to empower themselves, uh, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and especially spiritually, because that spiritual aspect of ourselves, and many of us, isn't realized or it's not really developed. And we need to look at that aspect of this robe that we wear, and and it gives us a deeper understanding of the gifts that Mother Earth has to share with us and has empowered us with, because water is empowering and it is life. And without water, there is no life.
Mhm. So what do you think of what we've said so far?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've had the advantage of sitting under your teachings, Mary Ellen, and so I understand a lot more than I used to. And it's true as someone who hasn't had that education background about water, and we don't think of it. So we just take it for advantage, or we take it for granted, that we can turn on a faucet and we get somewhat clean water out of there, depending if it's a well or a municipal. Yeah, we play around in our lakes and we run our boats and we run our all of our toys in these bodies of water, thinking nothing of what these toys could be doing to this water. Um, and then the bigger, I don't know, the big news things always seem to be about pipelines and how this stuff affects water. And people say, why is this such a big deal? And it's like, I don't think they really understand how how much this destroys the ecological system. It may have a little part in, let's say, uh, line three. It's a big issue here for the gray and so forth, and it's a little thing, but when they talk about moving this line, they're actually moving it to affect more tributaries than, than the original location itself. It's actually could be more catastrophic if there was, because there's more bodies of water that are to be affected than if it was closer to the lake and where it's at now. There's smaller. It's still going to have a big issue, especially as it heads towards Lake Superior. But I look at this stuff and it's like, what are we doing with our ATVs as it goes through forests, which are living beings that rely on water? We take our trees and our plants for granted. We take our game, the deer and other game and fowl, the fowls that rely on water. Um, there's just so many things that rely on it besides us humans, because everything on this earth relies on that water. And you think about, how the Creator built this earth. What are we surrounded by? Surrounded by,
That water both in oceans and lakes and the
yeah,
streams, atmosphere.
yeah. And like you said, there's an ecological circle where things evaporate into the sky and the clouds, it comes back down as rain. And there's this circle of life that is happening. And how have human beings affected this circle of life? Everything we touch as human beings, we we can do some good things,
Mm-hmm.
but by nature we don't do good to our earth. We don't do good things to our bodies. We don't do good things in respect to each other. Um, and that's our, that's that nature in us that we're always struggling with to be a better person. And first of all, like you said, we have to be a better person ourselves before we can be a better person to someone else. And to have that respect, Mary Ellen, you talk about the respect, not just of ourselves, but that respect for water. That it's just so vital. And I've seen that more and more in my life as I get older, and I don't take it for granted anymore. I just really want to see how we can better our community in the small realm, what we're doing here at LCO, in the bigger picture of Hayward, the bigger picture of Sawyer County, the bigger picture of Wisconsin. How does that trickle out from what we're doing here? Sometimes the task seems astronomical. How can we do this? What's the answer for solving this problem? But you're doing it by educating people about the water and educating women about themselves, and that's how it starts. Just one small talk, one small little can of water. It's all it takes, and I just really think this has been such a cool thing to be happening.
And you say, how can this be happening? What we need to do? And certainly, it's a very large undertaking. But some was building the tallest building in the world. How is it one brick at a time?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing, step by step, step by step. And eventually on that journey, we learn along the way to focus to get to our goal.
Yeah.
And it's all a step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's done.
I would say this when I worked in alcoholics. I thought I had a really, really, really tough issue. Not only individual, but families, but communities,
Mm-hmm.
nations, and not only our nations, but all nations. I'm not talking about native nations. I'm talking about um, European nations.
Mm.
uh, Southern nations. I'm talking about all colored nations. When we look at pictures, that's where I'm coming from. When we look at big picture, and we look at all the laws and all the like Montana, where they're gathering the rights to all water. And you can't even go. You can't even put a rain barrel out to collect water. You're thrown in jail.
Yeah.
It's getting to that point. When we think like that, it just becomes so overwhelming. And there are so many people that are not looking at the aspect, idea, uh, or the picture about water. They're not, it doesn't even come up in any topics. And, and when we look at things like that, it's so overwhelming and you just want to give up, you know. But when you take things apart, take for your or my part in all of this, I cling to the promise that things are going to be good if we do good.
Yeah.
And I cling to the promise of or the commitments of the people that are involved. And I went out to South Dakota to the encampment out there. They were fighting the oil. It was a picture that I never never dreamed would be here.
Mhm.
And but those kind of pictures were a long time ago. But I never thought I'd see anything like that. That our native, native people were fighting a war, and the militia and everybody else was fighting back for money. That's what it is. It's for money. And they go to when they're put back into Mother Earth, they're not going to take that money with them. Neither is their family when they go.
Right.
Neither is their children when they go.
Mm.
We're all gonna come with just a little bit more than what we came here with. It's the clothing that we're wearing. And our work is gonna be and, if we look at the purpose of our lives, it's gotta be an indication of what we we all have a purpose if we want to look at that and to build on that, to build good work. There is a lot of Mother Earth is talking. Mother Earth is talking loud and clear. Mother Earth is healing herself loud, and she's healing herself by the water that's coming at her, the fire that's coming at her, the wind that's coming at her. So, I mean, from the center of Mother Earth to the top of Mother Earth, to the surface of Mother Earth, you see that, that connection right there. And so, I mean, the eighth fire prophecy tells you that there's going to be a new people coming, and you're going to have to choose, to witness. You're going to have to choose between the spiritual way of life or material way of life. For those, and it says right there, for those that choose material, our Mother Earth is not going to last. You have to choose the spiritual. Then our Mother Earth will last. We fasted.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when I look at it like that, what I can do to help, not make things worse, or not create a problem, but just for my little portion, and what I can do, both financially, physically, idealistically, what I learned, all the ceremonies and all the teachings, what I can do, my little part of the big, clear, healthy picture. And that's what I'm doing. So it doesn't look as overwhelming when I know that I'm part of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the picture. Seven grandfathers.
Seven grandfather
When you
teachings.
know this, it says, when you know that you're a part of Mother, you will have wisdom. So that's the way I look at things. I'm too overwhelmed with basic way of life right now to try to get out there and do the bigger,
Yes.
great, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna change this. There's a lot of them, there's a lot of us that just want to do our own little part. And we can, just by what Joseph talked about, saving on the water. And praying is really, really big thing.
I was mentioning that to every other, when we come together, we like to talk amongst each other and share stories and share things. And that's what's the beauty of the women coming together, women in water, is we get to share our experiences and stories. And our elders come in and share their experiences and stories. We learn along the way and increase our path. And one of the sharings today was the mention about positive thinking. And the more we have put those thoughts and positive thinking out, the more that will change things, not only for ourselves, but as our lives go forward, because we start with ourselves. And, and water has memory. So when we bring that clear, clean water into our lives, bring it clear, clean thinking and memory into our lives, and then bringing that into what that we do in our lives. And those are some of the sharings that we're having today. And in essence, we start Women in Water, and as we grow and learn more awareness comes about how our life is us water, and how we can move in life in a blessed way and in a good way. And we have this word, I don't know, my Ojibwe is not that great, but I am learning my language. And my language, that was one of the words I was working on, and it's moving in, it's Abana, good way of life. When we say that good way of life, that's what we're talking about. That good, clean water in our life, so we can move forward in that good way of life.
That's may not be
Oh,
good life. Good life. We do our best, the best we can, and then we give the best that we can to the people that want to come and to be a part of what we're all about. And I'd like to say a lot about our tribe. Our tribe helps us a lot. Their support greatly. They're so good to us. I always say that our people can walk into any program, anything and all they have to do is come and sit down.
Hmm.
You don't have to worry about it. You walk into any program that I always want to take care of as fellows and others. So our university helps us a great deal. Our tribal governing board helps us, supports us financially too. We have other donations from Honor Our Waters and Rico Foundation. And we get a lot of help through donations that we receive. We call it a Women in Water store. Our articles for sweatshirts. Necklace Joseph makes necklaces, brings them with us to help us to raise funds so we can pay our bills. And we get donations from a lot of people across the country that have heard of my legacy. It's and tomorrow we have a healing day. We're gonna do wiping of the tears. Wiping of the tears is really a blessing from our people. That you don't have to be alone in grieving. You don't have to be alone when you feel like crying. You don't have to be alone when you miss your loved one. And we do this. So, and then we're going to do another ceremony. It's called the Individuals That Knowledge. And that was given to me by Elder from Red Lake. And I don't do it that often. done it in the last 30, 35 years. I've done that.
Hmm.
Maybe 5 times. So that's only done at certain times. So I do that one tomorrow evening. So tomorrow, the grading ceremony of wiping of the tears, that'll start in the afternoon. And depending on how many we have, that'll depend on how many hours or how many tears we do. That much I want to say to our community and to thank you for everything that you've done for us. All the donations, all the people that are coming, like firekeepers that are coming to sit fire, you know, for them to come and to sit and to be there, and for the people that are coming for healing. I'm so thankful when one of our people walked into the lodge, when the LCO member walks into the lodge. So grateful. So we thank our people for how much they respect the place where I am, how much they respect what I'm doing. And, make it.
And the sweat lodge, you can't do a sweat lodge without water. You can't do wiping of the tears without water. There's many, many ceremonies that you really takes water to make a connection uh, with all that is. The water can be a catalyst to lead you to many things.
Mm.
I'm sitting here and I'm trying to think of all these things to say about water, but and I've experienced so many things with water. For example, when I was a kid growing up, I never thought you'd be paying $1 a gallon, 29 or $1.50 for a gallon of water at the store, and it's like the price of water is going up, and it's going up for a reason because someone is uh, making money with it. And it's like when I was growing up, a bottle of Coca-Cola was a nickel. If you bought a 6-pack, it was 2. So that's coming from that perspective of looking back over a long period of time and watching that the evolution of how we look at water, how it affects us all, how it has affected me. And uh, I've been on a canoe trip in northern Canada, whereas we were canoeing back in the 50s. I could just take my cup and scoop a cup of water and drink it directly from the lake.
Yeah.
So I can remember that time, and I can remember that on that same canoe trip, I could look down to 30 feet of water and see the ripples in the sand. That
Mm.
you can see the fish. I mean, it was truly beautiful, and and what we're doing, we're we're destroying the beauty of Mother Earth. She gives us this beautiful, pristine life to live, and once again, going back to we don't respect the gifts that we are given. And that's what we try to convey to everyone, to respect life, respect yourself, and respect the water that sustains that life for all of us. Because without it, you know, there is no life.
Mm.
You know, when I was drinking, I didn't care. I didn't care about anything. I didn't even care for my kids. I didn't care for myself. My whole way of thought was different. I didn't know that didn't know all that I know today. This is about Anishinabe Sober Voices too. And I didn't care what, I didn't even know. I didn't even know about Mother Earth in the way that I know now.
Mm.
I didn't know about polluting. I knew all about how I polluted water. One time I was instigator for seeing when a little car, how long it would melt through the ice and take it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think about things like that. How much you helped. When I was thinking how much I helped to for the pollution of water, for the destruction of the earth. And it's I stop and think about that at times. How the alcohol can change our whole way of life. It's liquid, it's made of water, but we use it in a bad way. And it can kill us. That's what it teaches. That's what they say. That's what our elders say. Whatever you choose to do, if you abuse it, it will either do one of two things. It can take your life or it can give you life. And that goes with fire, that goes with water, it goes with food, it goes with thought. Thoughts. If you use it in a bad way, you'll be hurt. So, and it's true about water. It's true about alcohol. You use it. It comes from Mother Earth. It's made for good too. But we use it in drugs. It comes from Mother Earth. And we use it in a bad way, and it'll kill you. It will. That's a promise.
So, someone asked me once, I was sharing that there are negative things in life just to cleanse. There's positive things in life we need. Someone says, why do we need to cleanse positive things? Positive. I says, well, what's your favorite pie? He says, apple. I says, can you eat 10 apple pies tomorrow? Because a little bit you can savor. Too much can hurt you because of your perspective and not honoring what it is and what it can do to you. It will hurt you. But it's the same. We approach it with dignity, pride, and respect.
And again, respecting that clean water and respecting ourselves as a clean human being. Or, I don't know if that's the right word, clean, but I would say maybe clear is a better word. And again, clearness, which means clarity, which leads to clarity of mind, body, spirit, and our body itself becomes clear, and it goes back to and even when we're abusing our grandmother water, I'm going to sound great, that going back to that beverage line 3 situation, there's if we start abusing that as well, taking part of her just so we can have something else, or what are we really doing? Looking at creating a better balance, more clarity, and more beauty in our lives, and moving back to that goodness of life. So we pray, we put our sima, our tobacco, and ask that Okamisa Nubi as well to stand strong for herself. Pray for those ones to have clear minds, clear hearts, and clear way of life to know, to have that respect for for themselves, which will lead to respect for all the aspects of life.
So Thursday,
Mhm.
we're gonna have our giveaway, and we're gonna be dancing out a lodge, and people are gonna start heading home. And then our family is going to a daily lounge.
Mhm.
Going to the daily lounge. It's going to be initiations there.
Hmm.
But we're looking forward to that too.
Mhm.
And we'll get we might be tired now, but when we hit the
Yeah.
lodge, we're gonna be
Tired.
Yeah,
we're gonna get our
we
strength back.
understand. This, especially my wife is the head water woman in our lodge, so she's up like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, preparing the water with all the women like that. Everything is in balance, and that all the medicines, everything that needs water will receive that water, and so that everything can move in a good way. Because without water, we there's no ceremony.
Yeah. Yeah. And where we have our uh, there, we call it the bush. It's in the bush. So there's nothing nearby. We don't have any running water. There's no running water, no electricity, and it's up there in Canada, in the north of Canada. My cousins say where the bears. and and what we do is we look for a clean spring, and every year we have to. I go to the elders. Can we go to the spring? Oh no, that one's not good anymore. We have to go to another one. So every year I say I've had to change springs and that were the same location at least 5, 6 times in years. And we've been doing these lodges and our ceremonies, and to find that clean water has been a challenge, and through those years, hard to find that. Further and further, we used to be able to go just right down the trail where our lodge was. There was a pond and be able to go right there next to it, and that one got polluted. And then we had to go down the trail a little further, and then that one got polluted. And now we had to go to maybe half a mile away, and it's 3 miles away. So it's getting harder and harder to find that clean water to use for ourselves.
Mhm.
And we're not the only ones. So many countries it's that way, all over not just the United States, but the world. There's some dry places now.
Yeah.
Also, so think about just to have that understanding.
Once again, it goes to respect.
Mm-hmm.
People don't appreciate and respect what they have until it's too late.
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason why women and water is so important. We want to get the word out before it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
Have people have the understanding as to how important black water is to their lives, the lives of their children, the lives of their grandchildren, and we can say what we do now affect the next 7 generations.
Yeah.
And that's what women and water is focused on. Next 7 generations. Oh,
Oh. Mary Ellen, you said tomorrow is, what's the focus on tomorrow's?
Healing.
Healing. Okay. And on Friday, no. Start closing up.
Start letting
Yeah.
fire go out.
Yeah.
Dance out. Our western doorway is closed. No, we all have to enter their way and leave for the Eastern Dawn.
Sure.
Thursday we'll open up the Western. And that's the way they do to learn.
Okay.
We talk about women. Women are like givers. Women have that special relationship with Great Spirit. He chose to bring life into this world, onto this world, just like Mother Earth gives us life.
Mm-hmm.
So, our women, some of our women don't know that. Some of our women don't hear that. And so that spiritual relationship with the Great Spirit gives us a lot to think about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because with that special relationship, we can ask. We can ask.
Yeah.
We can just ask what we want her to think about.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
If every woman would think like that, just yes.
Mm-hmm.
It might not happen the way, all of a sudden, miracles and all that. Might not happen. It might build things together and make things right.
Mm-hmm.
And set things right, set in motion. I'm not saying it's in the wrong way now. Better.
Always can be better. Yeah. Boy. Well, we are out of time, and it's been a great conversation. I hope people enjoyed this and learned something from this. It's been great to have our guest with us today, and it sounds like you've been learning a lot as well as you've been at this gathering. So, Miigwech for coming today. Mary Ellen, thank you so much for bringing these guests and doing what you do. And we'll come together again in 2 weeks and talk some more. You've been listening.
It's not
Go ahead.
bringing you, it's a great spirit.
Yeah.
And I like think
And that's why we drive so far when we have building.
Yeah.
So we flew this time, but we have driven. It's been good.
Very
Stand
good.
for the water.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you much. You've been listening to Anishinaabe Sober Voices here on WOJB. It is time for Drum Song with Mr. Robin Thomas.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oops. What happened? He's playing it again. Why is he playing it again?
How did we happen to have